Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is actually going to be an MWS mag testing video. So, backstory of this, I went into Evike maybe 2 weeks ago. I actually was just walking around buying some other stuff. There is one of the members of Evike who works at their Alhambra superstore, was walked up to me before and said hi and just I recognize you from the channel. I was chatting to him actually at the checkout and he was like, hey, have you seen that we actually got the new Lancer L5 Gen 2 mags that have just come in? Literally kind of keep quiet about them. Like a lot of the staff want to buy them. And these are supposed to be, he said he only runs these now, but these are supposed to be the new best MWS mags that you can get if you have any MWS based platform. Now I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure I've got a mag that looks exactly like this. And he was like, oh, you got it with your CGS, like my DDM4 PDW. That mag is actually not the same. So the mag I was talking about was this one, because this says Lancer on it, and it has the L5, it has 300 blackout, but it's actually got the L5 markings on it. And so I was like, oh, actually, that mag's fine, but I'm not really it hasn't seemed amazing to me. It's not like I've seen any difference. And he was like, no, that's the one that's made by CYMA for the CGS system. There's actually these new ones which look very similar. They do not have this purple valve, this purple gas router on the top. It actually has a black one. And so that's how you can tell the difference, because they look very similar otherwise. So I was like, okay, if you think they're that good, show me them. Got them out at the actual desk. Sorry, I don't know what weight of BB is in this at the moment. And we're going to do a FPS test so that we can kind of see what the consistency of fire is like with these magazines. And we're also going to do just a rate of fire test and just see how that plays out. So I've just removed all the BBs from this one. But I've got a few different magazines we're going to try, as well as this kind of brand new L5 Gen 2 mag that they have, or is it a V2? I think they call it L5 AWM V2. So if you go on the Evike website, you can get confused by these, so just be careful. I'll have a link down below to these actual mags, but there are very similar ones looking that are either from Angry Gun or from CYMA. And the CYMA ones actually are $59. These are $65. So they're expensive. They're probably on the mid to high range of what you're going to pay for a mag. But what I'm going to, I'll do an unboxing in a second, but I'm going to compare it to tried and true, the stock MWS mag that comes with all of the replicas. These are great, but they are very heavy and they do wiggle around a bit in the actual magwell, I find. My go-to that I use for nearly everything, which is the Guns Modify Evo. This is a Gen 3. Yeah, so this is their most modern kind of Gen 3 version. That's my go-to, and I use that on my MWSs. And then actually I'm going to use the CYMA CGS mag, which is MWS compatible. And just to give you kind of a look of this one, it's got the translucent bullets in it, which I don't necessarily like. I need to block my face here with this. I don't necessarily like it. I think they look a bit fake, but I've actually got a version of it here so we can compare. And then this should work almost identically to this one, because this is just the Tokyo Marui MTW308, the short mag that you get with that stock. This is the only one I have, but I thought we would test that out. And today, to test it, we're going to be using this, which is my Guns Modify MWS. It's a very, very solid platform. I really like this thing. I use probably it not quite as much as I use my, I don't know why, but that's actually allowing me to go on safe, even though it's, well, we got another MWS if this one doesn't work out. But this is a pretty consistent replica that I really like. So we're going to be testing it on this, and we're going to use the same gun for each of them. The gas that we're going to use is going to be this green gas. It's kind of the standard one that you get from Evike. You're buying those they're, they're pretty much the standard one. In terms of PSI on this, I'm not sure. I expect it's around that 150, but I don't know the exact number. It is their stock green gas, so I thought if we're going to do it, then we do it on that. We're using an Ace Tech trace chronograph. this one here, which is the AC6000 Mark III. And then we're also going to be using 0.25 gram BBs loaded from my Vanguard preloader. So hopefully we're not waiting around too long for that. We'll see. Okay, guys, so let's do an unboxing of this first. I'll give you guys a little kind of a little desk down look of this so you can see what it looks like. I'll try and bring this in slightly so you're not kind of looking. Let me just see if I can adjust this. Probably should have done this before the video, but I'll do this right now. Let me just get it closer and closer. It's weird when I do it with this iPhone, it almost loves to do this kind of zoom around look. There we go, maybe we put it there. You can see me on the mini screen like trying to adjust it. Like if I tilt it up, it kind of flips it this way. Maybe we'll do it like that. And you guys can kind of see that very close up like this. Okay, so this is the box that it comes in. Standard kind of box, you know, like, I mean, it's not exactly pretty, but it's kind of the same box I'd say that the Evo mag comes in when you buy that. When you open it up, looks like we get actually an adapter to load it, which is good. I'm actually also going to test the MWS loader that I have, the adapter from Jaeger Precision. And then this is the mag. And the mag in terms of finish is pretty nice. I would say, I think he was saying like they're really light and they're very well built. Like I've had like some mixed feelings about Angry Gun. I know they make some good products, but I definitely have had some where they are cool in terms of what they're trying to do, but they're not great. But this apparently is like what everyone's using now. And the first thing I would say that I notice is the weight. Like this thing really does not weigh very much. I'll give you your kind of like close up of this. Now they do 4 versions of this. They do the opaque black, which is this one. They do an opaque FDE, which is kind of like your tan kind of color. They do the translucent smoke, which is the other one that I have here. And they do that one in both a 300 blackout and a 556. So I think that I got the 556 version. But I'm glad like they actually, this looks a lot better. They actually like recommended this to me and I'm kind of glad because it'll give me a good idea. I bought a couple of them just because I was like, I'm going to trust you. But you can see here, like the actual translucent smoke 3556, because it doesn't have the 300 blackout written on it. You can see here with the, you can't really see it very well, but you can see that glinting in the light, that 300 there. So that's the 300 blackout. And like the big change for me is, like they are the same size. This is like a bit of a optical illusion. So you can see like whichever one I've got in the 4 is going to look bigger. It's not actually one is a different size. They are the same size. But there are some massive differences with this. Firstly, this looks, I think, awful. It very clearly is a sticker, especially when you kind of turn it this way. You can kind of tell that that is just fake ammo. I mean, maybe from a distance you wouldn't, but like for me, that looks very fake. You've got that kind of like fake coiled spring there. I know some people like this, so I don't think everyone hates them, but this generally I think is a lot more subtle and a lot more discreet. It's obviously quite shiny, probably slightly, it's a similar finish, but maybe slightly more shiny, this version. But I have to say, like for a translucent smoke, I think that's actually one of the questions I said to him. I was like, I don't want these ones because these ones actually are tacky looking. And he said, no, they actually look very different. Now, similarities, this is the base plate, and the base plate looks very similar, except on this one is actually an inset. Like the CYMA one has got like an inset little area where they've put the branding, but they both say L5 AWM. Looks like this one's almost got like a registered trademark symbol, whereas this one doesn't after the L5. In terms of filling, you've actually got a rear fill valve on this one, which is the Angry Gun, the one we're reviewing. And actually the valve knocker on it is significantly smaller. You can see there, like it is much more like your TM style. Like this, I'll get this one out, it's better. This is like much more your TM style. So it's actually a bigger valve knocker than the TM one, but it is much more that similar design. They've all got the stop on empty catch here, which is going to come up as soon as you run out of ammo. It actually is, if you actually look here, the MWS is actually the shortest model. It actually is smaller in terms of length than these guys. It's not by a lot, but I didn't realize that would be the case. I thought they would all be exactly the same dimensions. What are we looking like with this guy? Yeah, so all three of these PMAG style ones are actually the same height. And then you can see there, you've got the smaller MWS mag. In terms of like the force of these stop on empties, like this one is very much tighter than the MWS. It feels like this is a newer mag that hasn't been used. That one, they're about the same. And this one is again smooth. I would say this is the most like rigid, like it's almost got like a wall like you would have on a trigger there. So we'll see if that's actually kind of any good. Similar-ish shapes, but actually again, I would say this one's protruding the highest. These two, the GM, the Guns Modify, and the new Angry Gun, L5. In terms of other finishes, so obviously you've got the fill valve there. I like that because that's the same as the Guns Modify, and it means apparently that if you drop them on the floor, that the actual, you know, if it's hitting on the base plate, if you've got the fill valve here, which it is on the Tokyo Marui, the chance of you damaging that fill valve and then, you know, it's got an O-ring around it there is a lot higher. Weight-wise, I'd say this is the heaviest. The Guns Modify is slightly lighter, but it's not a big difference. This is so much lighter. Like, this is the new Angry Gun L5, and it is so much lighter. These are the same weight. These are both the L5, the new Angry Gun one. But the weight on this compared to this is probably 2/3, I would say. And compared to this, like especially this thing, it just seems a lot lighter than the Tokyo Marui one for sure. So guys, that kind of gives us the up close and personal look of them. I'm trying to think if there's any other pieces that you guys would like to see. They've obviously got very similar fill valves, very similar feed lips. Maybe the feed lips on this protrude slightly higher. Sorry, I've realized we're not doing that. The feed lips on this new L5 maybe protrude slightly higher. But that's kind of very unnoticed. Like it's hard to tell the difference there. It's not really a big change. Other than that, there's a couple of screws in the top of the actual the CYMA L5. The kind of actual texture and like finish of these is exactly the, why do I keep doing that? The finish and texture of these is, you know, like the actual design and the layout is the same. Okay, guys, so let's try these out. I think we'll start first off with the Tokyo Marui to get a baseline. Now, these are very reliable. A lot of people absolutely love these. Like, they stick by the tried and true Tokyo Marui design. I'm going to vent this gas that's in there. I'm going to vent all of these. This is a fresh can of gas that we have. So then we can put this in the bottom here. And we're going to get an idea now. Thought we were leaking for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's weird, that filled very quickly. I'm also going to make sure that it can empty a mag. So we'll leave it at that just because it's venting gas. I don't know why I shake it. But that is now venting gas. So these are all going to be fairly cold mags. I'm actually going to fill them all now. Wow, you can see how much gas these Guns Modify ones take in. So this fill valve is on the back here, which I like. Got a little bit of like gas just bleeding out there. Almost feels like it's not, there we go, that's better. So 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do about 12 seconds, I think, actually, just on these. Let me just make sure we got this in. Yeah, okay. So that's those two filled. We'll fill the CGS. So this, in terms of like filling, I'm going to have to remove the base plate, which is kind of annoying. It fills very easily, that. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know if I was pushing hard enough there. Okay, right. So that, again, that was a very easy one to fill. I'm just amazed at how light these are. These really are. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Thought we had a leak there, we don't. This one's definitely sounding different when I'm loading it to the black one. Okay. Okay, so that's all of those loaded up. I'm going to do this guy. You know what I realized? I didn't vent this CGS one. So what I'm going to do, those were empty, the L5s, the new ones. So I'm just going to vent this quickly, and then I'm going to refill this because I don't want to give any miss results there. Good thing I caught that before we started it. Okay, I think that's good. This one we just vented, so we're going to fill this. This basically just should have a lower gas capacity, same design, same build. Okay, so that's that one. So we should now have gas filled in all of them. We'll now do the test in terms of loading. Now, the loading that I normally do for these, I'm unsure if the CGS one will take the... So what I'm going to do is probably do the 28. We'll do the 28 set. And then what I'm going to do is I'll load up the Tokyo Marui one first. And for that, I use the Jaeger Precision loader. I'm going to do this. These are 0.25 gram BBs. Okay, so this is a great actual loader adapter. You can get these from jaegerprecision.co.uk. I think it's the website. Just look that up. That's Jaeger. So that's good. We'll do this one as well. And I'll do, can't remember the actual capacity on these. So I might do 15. I'll do 3 sets of 5. Okay, so that's 15 gone in there. Now I think this should work on the guns modifier, but I may have to open this up. The angle on this is kind of slightly odd. If I get it right, it's good, but they're not designed for the guns modifier. We'll stop that there. Okay, so what I'm going to do with these is I'm actually going to load them the old-fashioned way. So I do quite like this loading mechanism. I know a lot of people are like, I don't know, they don't like it. I actually quite like it because the speed at which I can load these is pretty good. Now, what I'm talking about here is when you open up the Guns Modify Evo mags, they have this tray here. So I basically just have to remove this base plate or just move it out of the way and just push up from the bottom. Now, if you try and load into that tray, it's very, very difficult. However, if you pull the insert out fully, it locks the feeder and then you can just, oh, there we go. And then you can just kind of close it. What some people will try and do is just lay BBs out in this tray. I would say don't do that. What you want to do is push this in just so that you have this small gap and then you can start loading it. And I'm going to load with actually the CGS mag. We're going to put this here. I'm just going to load this with a load of BBs so that we have these in here. Okay, so that's those, and I'm going to try and just load it. Now, I will try loading the CGS mag with the loader as well, but with this one, I'm just going to use this. I'm not sure if Jaeger Precision has done one for the Guns Modify mags. I can check on that. But he does them for the AKM, which works perfectly. He does them, I'm trying to think what other ones I have of his. I can't think, but he does a few different versions that work on different gas blowbacks. So if you don't like loading your gas blowbacks, that's normally a pretty great way to just make sure we're good. Okay, so that's loaded up, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to put my finger slightly over the top here just to protect the feed lips, and then I'm going to release the spring. That's going to push the BBs up, and then they're in a good place. Depress the little button here, push that over. That one's loaded. So we've loaded that. Next, what I'm going to do is load the CGS, and I am going to try just loading it with the Jaeger Precision. Okay, so that loaded, but it was definitely pretty forced. Like it wasn't fully lined up the feed lips there. So you can load with the Jaeger Precision, but actually what they do provide you with is this CGS loader when you actually get like a CGS gun, like my PDW. And so that is probably like, you know, the one to do. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually not going to use this Guns Modify. I'm going to use my standard Mark 18 that I have from Tokyo Marui because I think that's going to be a better test now I'm thinking about it. So I'm going to pause this now. I'm going to go and switch this out. You can say goodbye to my Guns Modify Mark 18 and say hello to my Tokyo Marui Mark 18. This is like the Daniel Defense license one. I actually have switched out the rail on this, but otherwise externally, it's the same, obviously, with all the added stuff. Internally, I have switched this up. But I recently cleaned this in a cleaning video, so hopefully it will be a lot more consistent in that way. So we'll give it a little test now, and we can hopefully see that it's pretty consistent. So that is everything loaded up. No, it's not. We haven't loaded the new mags. That's probably one of the most important things that we were supposed to do in this video. First off, I'm going to try the Jaeger Precision adapter. And we'll see if it loads with that. We're going to do this one. Okay, so they load with that, which is great. So actually, I would say loading-wise, that was easier than the CGS mags. Wasn't as smooth as actually the MWS ones because it's designed for that. But that one definitely works. I'm going to try this CGS speed loader on the other one, and we'll see. Yeah, that one's done. That one's done. We'll try it on this one and we'll see if this CGS one works. And I don't think it's going to. Okay, it is, but it's pretty tough to get those in. Definitely more tough than just using the adapter from Jaeger Precision. Next, what else should I try? Is that it? I'm just going to do that. I don't think we have the ability to load it like the gun. Okay, so that feeder magazine just shot out. So what I think you could actually do, and if you look there, it is right there. So I need to quickly find that because otherwise we're going to be in real trouble. And I'll be back in one sec. Okay, so this is what shot out, which is literally your standard base piece, your spring, and then your actual follower. I think that what we're going to need to do... So if you look as well, like it doesn't feed right at the front like the Guns Modify one does. The actual gap you're putting the BBs in is right there. You can see here, there's the like indent gap there, which is where this follower edge is going to go through. But that's really interesting. So what you could possibly do, which is going to make your life a lot more difficult though, is take these BBs that we just had, put them straight in. And then you could basically put the follower in But if you fill it up, you're going to be compressing this spring and it's going to be a bit of a nightmare trying to get them all in. Now, I don't know if I love that. I think I like it because you probably aren't going to need to take the bottom off. And if you do, now I've just showed you that, it is going to be something you're going to look out for. You're going to be like, wait, I need to make sure my spring and follower don't shoot out the bottom. But it is something where I'm like, why haven't they put some kind of retention tab there? Because now, like I hate springs, as you know, if you follow the channel. If not, I'm going to actually set a real thing now where I'm going to say, hit that notification bell. I don't care about subscribing, and I think you may have to subscribe to hit the notification bell. But anyway, I don't care about anything else. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I don't care about anything else. I just want that bell, because I think as soon as that bell does it, it means when we do the premieres, you guys can actually join and we can have a chat. If you're there chatting right now, I love you. Thank you for being here. But I actually would really appreciate that. So if you guys could actually just look at it right now and just hit the bell, I will love you forever. I'm actually going to load the rest of this with the guns mod, with the Jaeger Precision, because I can't be bothered to do the CGS, and I know that this one works. Okay, that one's actually a bit more difficult to load than the other one was. They should be the same mag, so there's no real reason for that. But there is more tension on this one, it seems like. Okay, so that one's not pushing in that hard. So let's try again with the CGS. So that's quite weird, because it should be the same mag. You know, like there shouldn't really be any differences between the translucent mag and this one. Okay, so that's loaded now. So maybe it was just because I had a couple of BBs in it, and the BB feeding wise is not as easy to do in that way. But we've now loaded all of these mags. So this thing just weighs such a little amount, which means when it's on your kit, on your gear, I think it's going to be pretty great. Okay, so we'll put that out of the way. Oh, I just decided to hit that. We'll sleep and lock it. So I've got this set on here. Oh no, is it run out of battery? If this has run out of battery, I'm going to be so annoyed. I'm going to have to like plug it in and charge it while we're actually doing this. Okay, let me just check and see if I plug this guy in, and I do have a plug right here. What's going to happen? Okay. It says we have 2 bars, so that's really weird that Ace Tech there. This is a very good tracer unit in general, so I don't know why that is. I'm setting this now to 0.25, as you can see there. I'm probably, what I'm going to try and do is maybe set this up so that we can do a little bit of a look just at the tracer unit as I'm shooting, so you guys can have a look there. Hopefully that works. Let's see if I'm showing you the tracer unit. I'll try, and that means I can go up like that, so hopefully that's good. So what I'm going to do is need some eye protection. Obviously, always need your eye protection. And we're going to test out, as I said, the Tokyo Marui mag first. And we're going to see, you can see there, it's actually the movement on it's not too bad. Like, I thought actually the wobble on there was worse than it was originally, but it's actually not that bad. Okay, so I'm going to charge this, and we are going to do our testing. Okay, so I don't want to shoot. So the recoil on this is pretty great. So it's 1.5 joules, 359, 360, 359, 356, 352, 355, 354. I've got this thing firing really good. That was 342. This thing is firing really well. I have to say, like, the recoil on this, I forgot how good it is. And actually, you can see there we've done 8 shots. 342 is that drop off there. So we're really within a 8 FPS drop off in 8 shots, which is pretty amazing. 349, 354, 349, 351, 352, 353. So yeah, so this is super consistent on the Tokyo Marui mag. So I'm quite excited because it means it's showing us that this thing it's like spot on. It's pretty warm today as well, so it probably would fire a little bit less than that. And that is right on the limit of what I could fire this at for sure. So that's where we are with this one. I'm already fogging up, which is not great. I absolutely hate wearing eye pro when I don't have like some kind of fan. So I'm going to just do quickly the RPS on it. And then we can kind of see what we're looking at that way. Let's do this way. Yeah. Okay, so my RPS on that is 16.7. So that is 16.7 is the rounds per second that we are right there. Oh, sorry, 14 it says. No, 16. Okay, so 16 was that first bit. That last bit was 14. So that's my stats right there. And it was basically firing at the end there at 330 FPS. So we had a range there of like 355, I think, down to 330. So Tokyo Marui mag, fantastic, tried and true. Everyone loves this mag. So, you know, if you're thinking what mag should I buy, it's definitely good to get that mag. Right, so next one we'll test is the Guns Modify, because this is my go-to. This one is being used quite a bit, this mag. So I actually haven't used the Tokyo Marui mag that much. When I got my MWS, I pretty much went and just bought that one from Ollie Talks Airsoft's recommendation. The other thing is that how to fill it was also another recommendation from Ollie Talks Airsoft. And he's not with us anymore, but like his knowledge lives on. So thank you so much, Ollie. All right, so we'll go with the Guns Modify now. So these ones are about $60 a mag, I believe. And we'll do some testing of the power. Okay, so that's 342, 339, 336, 337, 338, 341, 344. You guys can't see it here. 345, 336, 335, 335, 332. So again, super consistent. Like the problem now, I think, is unless we have the CGS, which is firing a lot lower, then it's going to be very hard to kind of know the differences. Okay, rate of fire on this one. I'll dump the rest of the mag. So that was at 16 as well. So we got 16 rounds per second for both ones. Obviously, I only had 3 rounds left in that mag. Oh no, we had a lockup. We had a jam. Okay, so that's weird that we actually had a failure on that. So at the moment, in the lead is okay, so that was, again, it said 28 rounds per second. There's no way that was firing at 28 rounds per second. And that finished on 253. So I think we have 16 rounds a second. Again, how I've got this set up, it is firing lower in terms of the FPS, which would be better actually generally, I think, for the fields here. So that MWS mag is firing pretty hot. Next, what we're going to do is we'll do the CGS, and then we'll finish with the mag that we're testing. So this is the CGS mag. We'll test this out and we'll see where it is. Obviously, the replica could be getting a bit colder. I'm trying not to do this too fast, so you know we're actually getting some kind of like good reading. Maybe I'll move this slightly this way so you guys can look here and kind of see how this is acting. But we'll have a good test on this. Uh-oh, we lost power again on the bloody tracer unit. Looked like it had enough power on that, so I don't know. Maybe it's just going into like power conservation mode. Yeah, it's not saying it's too low. Okay, right, so we'll flick this into semi, and we'll go with 371, 360, 357, 356, 350, 350, 347, 349, 347, 349, 348. So again, it's super consistent. Like we obviously had that initial flyer at 370, but after that, it seems to have dropped down into a respectable level. Okay, rounds per second. Okay, that's 15 rounds per second. So again, oh, we've got a jam here. So this could be my nozzle, which is having an issue, but we had a feeding jam on that one. So again, it's actually saying 32 rounds a second. There is no way that that's 32 rounds a second. If you've heard a 32 round per second airsoft gun, it's like a so I think, again, we're about 16 there. And, oh, actually, sorry, it is 16 rounds a second. I'm reading the wrong number, 16.2. So, yeah, so I think, to be honest, like, we had a jam there and a hold up, but it doesn't actually seem like it's too bad. Again, that one's firing pretty hot comparable to the Tokyo Marui MWS mag. The guns modifier is firing a more respectable limit for being being able to play it indoor and outdoor if you're in the US. So let's try, or if you're in the UK, actually, that probably makes a bigger difference. You need it lower than that even. Okay, so let's try the first one. I'm going to try this black mag, which is going to be our L5 AWM from Angry Gun. And it's very snug, like as in there is no movement in that at all. So much so that actually dropping it will drop, but not really. And I think that, to be honest, that will wear in. It'll be one of those things where it'll get looser and looser, but it definitely, unless you slam it in hard, it's not like it's really solid though. Like this replica just feels like pretty incredible in terms of like how solid it is. Compare it to this. You can see you've got some wobble there. The CGS mag. You've got more wobble even. The MWS mag. The most. And then this guy, there is no wobble. It literally is solid. So for that, I'd probably give it the points. Obviously, you don't want it too tight where you can't get it in and out, but I'd say snug-wise, like that's pretty much amazing. Let's give this a little test now on our, let's turn it off. I'm going to try and turn it on again, and it's not going to like me. Nope, we're good. Okay, so 0.25s, 368, 351, 350, 332, 337, 330, 331, 331, 325, 324, 325, 322, 320, rate of fire. We've got 15.6. So that finishes on 270 FPS. So I think we'd had more variance at the start there. It went from 370 down to about like 330. And then it kind of like evened out a bit. So that could just be because it's a new mag. Like the initial, like the gas valve on that has never been used before. So I will give it some actual like some leeway there just for that. But it definitely, again, is performing really well. We'll try this mag now, which is the other version, and we'll kind of see if that is the same. This one weirdly actually loaded easier. So that now is perfect. So it's actually got more wiggle now than it had. So I think this is just seating in. We're going to try firing it again with another load. So we'll test it and we'll see. This guy is now going to be the other Angry Gun. 271. 271. Okay, this one for some reason may not have enough gas in it because it was firing at the same FPS there. It actually says 1 there, so it almost like it didn't register. Let me just put more gas in this because we haven't really started the test. So let me put more gas. This was the one actually when we first filled it, where I was getting this spit out, and I don't know if that is just... Okay, let's try it now. So it didn't feed that last one. Okay, that's firing better. It is still kicking gas out there. So it's not registering it. That didn't feed. The only thing I'm thinking is, could it be an issue that I'm having with my MWS right now? I got another lock up there. It's almost like my nozzle might be... It's feeding there. 301, 298, 300, 299, 297, 299. Okay, so that's super consistent there. Rate of fire. You can see there, like the gas just isn't feeding. You know what I might do? Purge the mag and then refill it. I think we could just have air stuck in there, which is why. Because that's feeling a lot better now. Okay, well, good thing we're running 2, so we can kind of get an idea of what we're doing. Okay. Let's now, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to refill these. We'll keep this on charge right now. And I'm just going to refill these just so that we can kind of see what the actual like gas capacity is like on these, because I just want to see what that is like. The only thing I'm thinking is this could have cooled down quite a bit when I was running it, which is why we had that like misfire at the start there. It seemed like once it was going at that 300, it was just like 300, 299, 297, 300, 299, 297. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to refill the mags and I'll be back. Okay, so the mags are reloaded, and so we can just kind of keep going on the next round here. It's more now, I think, to find out what the gas capacity is. Can I go through 2 mags or 3 mags potentially on one gas fill? Because I think that's going to be probably what's most important to people. So let's go now with this. Actually, it's starting the same way. I'm going to go Tokyo Marui. It's got a much more of a clank, that one. 354, 348, 348, 354, 347, 347, 3547, 345, 341, 342, 337, 341, 334, 336, 329, full auto. Down to 298, 15.5 rounds per second. Okay, so that's that one done. Maybe let this cool down for 1 second. So that is getting cold. We'll do the guns modify next. So that went through that mag very easily. That was no issue at all with that mag going through. Let's go with power back on. Okay. 351, 352, 350, 348, 344, 345, 346, 346, 342, 340, 340. Okay, so again, super consistent. Rate of fire on this, 15 flat is that one. So That went through that mag very easily. Let's give this a second to cool down. It's definitely getting colder, like the actual replica, which means I could switch over to something else, but that is going to affect like our test really, isn't it? So let's not do that. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do is the CGS, and then we're going to finish up with the L5 and just see if they can all go through 2 full mag dumps. Off and on. Okay. 352, 344, 343, 343, 340, 338, 337, 337, 335, 334, full auto. 15.1 was the rounds per second on that. It finished with a 284. I would say all of these mags seem to be performing almost identically. So maybe it's just like a real like shout out to this thing right now, because it seems like this is so consistent. It's like varying it by 10 FPS when we're like fully out there. We'll see though with this guy, because definitely I would say out of the last ones, this is so light. It is so light. Out of the last ones, this was definitely probably the least consistent, but also it is a brand new mag. And again, it's so tight in there. Okay, let's go with starting again. Three, two, 3, 301, 302, 304, 295, 290, 290, 284, 279, 281, 284, 280, 279. So it is consistent. Okay, so that finished at 10.5. Obviously that was lower, but that is that mag spent. And it did not get locked back there. Yeah, so that's that mag spent. It did finish the mag, but it didn't get locked back. And again, this is a brand new mag. I kind of want to just kind of mag dump through it and just see how many rounds of this we get. It is a colder replica, but compared to the others, this is firing at a lower FPS. And it is not as consistent. And the others are all pretty much 350 on the nose now and just like churning through rounds. Okay, so let's try this last one, which is the other L5. And again, super tight, no movement. But as of right now, unless I keep testing this and it gets better, I will probably stick with my guns modifier. Whoa, good catch there, Ed. Okay. 266, 266. That one didn't even feed. That one didn't feed. So what is going on with this mag? This mag is just a nightmare. Something wrong with this mag for sure. .265, 258. Yeah, this one's not feeding. Let me just give a little blowout to this guy. That's that CGS mag. Okay, that was firing there. Yeah. There we go. 277, 259, 265, 270, 275, 275, 272. You can hear that mag's just dumped and is empty. And that did not finish that mag. So guys, the moment I would say actually out of these mags, this Angry Gun mag is not the best. It seems like, and again, we may have a situation where it is just because it is brand new, but it's lighter, it feels more solid. I like the finish on it a lot more. But I would say my current tests are that this thing is not as consistent. What I might do is just do one more test of this one, because I think there's something going on with this mag. Doesn't look like there's feed issues on that. Let's do one more fill of this mag and then see if we can... Because yes, the replica was colder towards the end, but we went through... What I'll do, guys, is I'll do this video and you can kind of take what you want from this video. I will try and dump some rounds through this. I'll try and put like, 3 or 4 different like mags through it, and then we'll do a retest. And I'll do that in a short format, or I'll just do a short video like follow-up, and we can just test this by itself. But at the moment, these mags are actually, I would say, much better. There's no like, okay, wait there. Those are all very close in terms of performance. This one is firing less in terms of the FPS on it. Just do that. Can't load it now as well. Oh, what we forgot to do is actually do the loader on here, didn't we? So let's do this on our standard one. See how this performs. I want to do 28. Okay, well that is going in super easy. That was probably easier than loading the... it was easier for sure than loading the Tokyo Marui. That was the easiest one we've had so far, for sure. Okay, so let's test this. That's the other thing it could have been, is I was hard loading it with the CGS mag loader, so with the CGS loader, and that was potentially damaging the BBs for consistency wise. I don't know, I'm incredibly strong, as you may know. Okay, so let's go with this for one more. Okay, right. 2 5s, yeah. 249. Again, look, that's not even feeding it. What is going on with these mags? Let me vent it and refill it. See, that is there. It's venting. And so why is it not? It's almost like it's not hitting that valve knocker properly. That's filling now properly for sure. Can hear it still going. Okay, let's go with that. That didn't feed. See, it's not coming through. I'm having BBs running out the end. Okay, that's feeding now. 297, 282, 279, 284, 279, 282. Rate of fire. I mean, that's shocking, guys. Yeah. So as of right now, I'm not a fan of these Angry Gun L5s. I would not say buy them. So I'm going to keep testing them, because obviously when I spoke to the guys at Evike, like, they're not trying to upsell in any way. They were like, hey, don't tell anyone, because we love them and I run them on everything. So either I've got like a bad one, or maybe they're just not seated in fully. But I'll continue to test these. But in terms of like thumbs up, I would say these two are my favorite. The CGS mag is good. Again, that was firing a bit hot to start with, but it's a good mag and it works in the MWS system. And then these two right now are the lightest. I like the finishes the most. I like how they're built, but performance-wise, they were just not performing. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I will put a link down below to buy this. I'll also put a link to the Guns Modify version as well, and also the Tokyo Marui and also the CGS, so you can kind of pick and choose what you want. But yeah, so far, guys, I'm not a big fan of these, so buy them if you want, but wait for my next video where I fully test them, and we'll see then. All right, guys, bye-bye.